Hi, Ashley, can you hear me? Let's see.
Small jump for buildings and ground.
Ashley, can you hear us and can you unmute your mic?
I can hear you.
Oh, great. Are you able to turn your camera on? We wanted to administer the oath.
Well, I'm at home watching my kids today, so I'm in a hat and I'm not prepared, but
Yes, sorry for springing that on you.
no big deal. Here I am.
Great. So if that works for you, we'll are you okay? We'll do the oath now before the meeting starts?
Sure.
Great. All right. So I'll just, I think you've seen this before. I'll say the words if you could repeat after me. I, Ashley Schultz,
I, Ashley Schultz,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the government established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I do further solemnly swear
I do further solemnly swear
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
perform all the duties of the office
perform all the duties of the office
of the Millburn-Short Hills
of the Millburn-Short Hills
Business Organization, Inc. Board of Trustees.
Business Administration, Inc. Board of Trustees.
Business Organization, Inc. Board of Trustees,
Business Organization, Inc. Board of Trustees,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
Thank you very much, Ashley. Appreciate
Thank you.
your
All right.
patience and indulgence there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, hi, everybody. Welcome to our March board meeting. So both Michael Parlavecchio and Stephen Weiner are not able to be here tonight. So I'd like to ask for a motion for Richard Wasserman to chair the meeting.
I will motion that.
Okay, a second. Okay,
Second.
a voice vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Just if you call for any in opposition.
Okay, and the opposition? Okay.
Well, thank you very much.
All right, I will read the sunshine statement. Notice of the time, date, location, and agenda of this meeting, to the extent known, was provided at least 48 hours prior to the commencement of this meeting in the following manner: pursuant to the provisions of NJSA 10.436, etc., the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice was posted in Town Hall and on the township's website by notification to newspapers on December 27, 2022 of the schedule for 2023, and by providing notice to the township clerk. A notice of the change of date of this meeting was provided to the item on February 23rd, 2023.
Let's salute the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So at this point, we'll read the SID mission statement. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Tracy, roll call.
Okay, Alexa Clark,
Present.
Tracy Katz Levine, here. Michael is absent. Annette Romano, here. Ashley Schultz.
Here.
Stephen Weiner is absent. Jesse Moment.
Here.
And Richard Wasserman.
Here. So the SID mission statement. The purpose of the Special Improvement District is to promote, grow, and support local businesses, property owners, residents, and visitors. Millburn Township SID ordinance designates a new district management corporation whose mission is to encourage the economic, cultural, and social vitality of Millburn Township through increased marketing and visibility, improved and renewed infrastructure, and local business development and engagement.
Okay, the minutes were attached from February 16th. Did anybody have any questions about the minutes? Okay, I'll do a roll call vote. Alexa Clark. A minute.
Turn your microphone.
Tracy Katz Levine, yes. Michael is not here. Annette Romano.
Yes.
Okay, Ashley, yeah, and Stephen were not at the meeting. Okay. Good.
Terrific. So we'll go into our bylaws, governance, and finance. Treasurer's report, February 28th. Is who's going to do?
I'm going to handle those.
Okay, there you go.
All right, terrific. So just a note, you'll all notice that I did change the structure of the meetings to reflect our various committees. So normally we do it by individuals. Going forward, we're just going to do it by committees. So nonetheless, the treasurer's report, you have it included in your packets. The balance as of the end of February was $30,546. The real balance as of today is $21,852. However, tomorrow is the 15th of the month, and we'll be receiving the payments due to the SID via the special assessment. We will, based on the balance plus the $75,000, almost $76,000 that has been collected, we will have about $98,000 in the bank as of tomorrow. So we will be quite liquid, and we can begin spending on some of our large events that are coming up. So the tax payments have been prompt, which is terrific, and we are good to go in that respect. So all I have to report on that, so that's good news. There is, we had talked about the selection of an auditor. As you recall, we've seen a fairly, the price of our audit is fairly high. So we did release a request for proposals to just shy of 60 accounting firms throughout the region. We had originally put it out to about a dozen or so. We only received, we didn't receive any qualified proposals at that point. I resent it out. We did receive 3, one from Nisavaccia, who's our current auditor, one from Planet Financial, and one from Canone & Company. Canone & Company came in at $7,500 for this year. That includes both the audit and the 990 filing. Then up to $78.75 and $82.75. We asked for a 3-year rollout. If there's no objection, I would like to have approval from this board for myself and Stephen to contact Canone & Company. They're actually in Springfield, right on Morris Avenue, and to see if we can maybe negotiate a slightly lower price. And if we can, then proceed with contracting with them.
Is there what's the amount that we currently? Is there a current amount that we're paying?
So the current amount is just about the same, but Nisavaccia gave us a proposal for continued services. So they're going from about $7,500, $8,000 up to $93.75, $95.75, and $9,800. So either way, they're at least $1,200 a year more than Canone & Company.
Got it.
So.
I would just ask, do we know anything about them, or can we do a reference check?
Yeah, so that's what I'd like to do with Stephen. We'd like to interview them, certainly do a reference check, get a formal proposal, not just a request for proposal response. and bring it back to you guys for assuming everything is acceptable for formal approval.
How are we spelling their name?
Cannone and Company. They're at the end of Short Hills Avenue, where Short Hills Avenue intersects with Morris Turnpike. So they're in Springfield, but they're only a block or two down from.
Morris Avenue.
Yeah.
Short Hills Avenue and Morris Avenue.
Do we need a formal approval or just the consensus?
Consensus? Okay, I will proceed with interviews, reference checks, etc.
Terrific, terrific. And now we'll go on to marketing, branding, and placemaking.
I have one item. So as we talked about at the previous meeting, the rear parking lot, that municipal lot on Upper Millburn Avenue, is slated for reconstruction in July, August of this year. So the town is performing that work. Alex McDonald, our business administrator, has tasked Explore with developing a signage program. For those of you who've used that lot, it's not particularly well signed. It's behind the building, so it's most people don't even know it's there, but it's a very large lot. And so we met with this, Amanda and I met with the signage vendor that did all of our downtown parking signs for the parking deck. We thought that was a very successful project. We walked that entire area. We talked about vehicle directional signs, pedestrian directional signs. And so we're just waiting on a scope of work from them, a price proposal. And then that'll also be part of a larger branding effort for Upper Millburn Avenue, where there's some Chamber of Commerce signs that have been there for ages that don't match the branding of the rest of the district. We'll replace those with new modern ones that have the same color scheme, the same font, etc. So it's both for vehicular and pedestrian as well as overall branding. So hopefully by our next meeting, we'll have a scope of work to present to you guys. That money will not come out of the SID budget, that will come out of the municipal budget, but we've been asked to project manage it.
Terrific, terrific, all right, wonderful. Okay, so Amanda, plantings and streetscape plan.
Okay. Is it okay if I speak from here? Okay, can you hear me? All right. A lot to report on. All good. So number one, so the plantings and streetscape plan. Steve and I are going to go around and do an audit. I think it's Thursday afternoon of all the different planters and the needs on Morris Turnpike and tree pits to confirm what we're responsible for. And then we're going to be putting together an RFP or scope of work to get some estimates in for the whole year. So for the different seasons. So that's coming up. We'll have more information for you at the next meeting. But what you see now is put in for the holidays. And then they don't really do anything until after the frost line about May 15th. So that'll be when you'll see the results of that. Public art. So I have a brief update today. I'll have a very extensive one at our next meeting. Coming up with Founding Day, we're going to have 2 to 4 pieces of public art that are going to result from Founding Day activities, which is very exciting. We also have a possible new site for a mural, the site of Jack's Lobster Shack. The kiosks, the parking kiosks are still going to be taken care of, and they'll be installed by Founding Day. The Short Hill Station banner mural has been ordered. The CETA banner mural from the art alley is being repaired. Parts of it were tearing off from the wind, so that's being repaired, and then we're going to have it installed a different way, so it should last much longer. And then just go a couple of the vacant window sites. We have an opportunity to work with Fudders as well as 565 Millburn Avenue in Upper Millburn. And ShopRite is having their meeting this month to decide whether they want to move forward with us. So as soon as I know, I'll let you all know anyway, but that I'll have that answer for the next meeting. And I think that is it for now. Any questions? So a lot of progress. Okay. So recent events and trainings.
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah, we're gonna, let me go.
Memorial
Okay,
Day.
for events and planning, Annette.
The
Memorial Day Parade is scheduled for Memorial Day this year on the 29th, is it? No. Is it May 29th, 11 a.m. from the high school. We've invited, we're hoping that the SID board volunteers will join us in marching on that day.
That's a Monday.
It's the Monday.
I am forcing my children to march. They will love it.
That's
So
awesome.
I want everybody else to come too. It'll be
That's
fun.
awesome, good. So, we're inviting, we're getting trying to get the horses and the different groups and bands, like we did last year. So hopefully we'll have a nice day. It'll be a successful event. And that's it for now. Still a work in progress.
All right, great. Yeah, that was a lot of fun last year.
It was.
Yeah, but please consider that an explore event. We're gonna have a banner, even if it's just me holding it, but we'll be there.
Terrific. So Amanda, recap of recent events and training.
Yes, so we recently had a search engine optimization. Training by Bolt Ahead Marketing. It was very successful. We had 12 participants. Some of them are actually hiring the company to do work for them privately. And the gentleman that put that together is part of the interior motif team. So that was a really nice professional development, business education training. And then the big one, which Jesse, if you can pull up the video for interior motif. So interior motif just opened up on Upper Millburn Ave, and they pulled out all the stops for the event. It was a phenomenal grand opening. We put a lot of here. Okay, so just a few tidbits from that, but it was just an awesome night. So interior motif, they had wonderful catering. They had a DJ. They had finished furnishing their showroom. They even decorated the back area, and they brought in their friends from Z100, from HGTV. And they also brought the Bentley and the Rolls Royce for people to sit in and try out. Very comfortable. A lot of fun, a lot of photo ops. Explore put a ton behind this. Steve especially was reaching out to everyone, letting them know what a great mixer this is, a welcome. And it was seen there that night. I mean, you saw a variety of business owners, residents, people we didn't know, which is great. And the owners of Interior Motif could not say enough about the welcome they've received here in Millburn-Short Hills. They said they wish they had that in Hoboken. So we told them to bring their other business colleagues here. We'll welcome them too. So we had over, what was it, 150 people come through. Yeah, and it just felt, the energy was awesome. People were having fun. And something I was saying to Steve earlier is the impression I had from them is that they just see opportunity here. And they're just so excited to be here and network and grow their business. This is their second location. And I know some of the things Steve's going to report on are going to speak to that as well. But it was a really great night, really happy about it. And then we'll look forward to the next mixers coming up. But that was an example of everything going well and everyone putting their best effort in. So congratulations. Steve, I don't know if you have anything else to say. All right. Okay, so upcoming events and trainings. So business education. On April 5th, we have a social media for small businesses, the intermediate level. That's going to be put on by JMT Media. On April 11th, we have a writing a business plan that's part of the Citizens Bank series, and that's going to be presented by UC EDC. On April 19th, we have the next social media for small business, but this is advanced because we're really finding that people are in different places with their social media. So we're trying to meet everyone where they are. And that's also by JMT Media. On April 26th, we will have an Understanding Your Financial Statements. That's another Citizens Bank one that's presented by UCDC. And May 2nd, we're moving the dates to May 2nd and May 4th will be a customer lifetime value training, and that'll be done by Explore. Any questions?
What is customer lifetime value training?
So it's looking at someone, not just for the first transaction, but if you keep them for the lifetime of your business or for them, what is that value? And looking at people that way and how you're investing in them and engaging them and developing your relationships with them. So I think it helps people approach their customer service and their actions, investments in a very different way when you look at it like that, because we all know it costs more to get a new customer than to hold on to one. So that's what that's going to be about. All right. And then upcoming events, Restaurant Week, which I will get into, and then Founding Day, which I know Jackie will cover. Any questions? Okay, so, all right. Restaurant Week. All right, there's a lot. It's great.
How many restaurants are participating?
Oh my gosh, 31. Yeah. So this, and we have, if anyone has a place to put a poster, we've put about 150 out in the community, but we have some more. So yeah, Springbone just came in today. They're number 31. So that's great. Participation wise, I will quickly read who's participating. Boxcar, Cafe Monet, this is all on our website. Cafe Monet, Caramia, Casa des Natas, Clemenza's, Common Lot, EVOO and Lemon, Goldberg's, Indian Express, Jack's Lobster Shack, Joey's Tavern, La Pergola, La Strada, Live Breads, Mariachi, Mexican Restaurant, Millburn Deli, Millburn Standard, Ms. Lin Chinese Cuisine, Saigon Cafe, Sakura Japanese Restaurant, Splurge Bakery, I just mentioned Springbone, Sum Ramen, Taste Buddy, Thai House, The Wine Shop, Gian Marco's, and then Wine Boutique. So that was just been a lot of effort, but it's been awesome.
Yeah, is there any,
That's great.
Amanda, is there any expense for these, for the restaurants to participate? Like, is there any?
No.
So any restaurant in any of our 5 districts can participate?
Yeah, and they've been invited by email, social
So
media.
all the restaurants are invited.
Yeah, no, yeah, we've been making efforts constantly. I've gone door to door to as many places as I can, which seems to be the thing that works the most because they're all just slammed. So we'll
What type of
welcome.
things are you gonna mention? Just
Yes.
What type of things are
So some examples. So a lot of restaurant weeks, they're just prefix, right? Meals, whether it's prefix lunch or prefix dinner. So the different thing about our restaurant week is that's just part of it. A couple examples, EVO and Lemon for everyone that comes to, I believe it's lunch and dinner that week, they'll get a complimentary spread of their Greek spreads. And they're also going to do complimentary, is it rice pudding for everyone that comes to dinner that night. And then Goldberg's, this is gonna, they'll sell out for sure. They're gonna do buy 6 bagels, get 6 bagels free
Wow.
the whole week. Yeah. La Pergola is doing, this is really neat. They're gonna get a 60-pound round of Parmesan cheese. And that Monday through Thursday dinners, they're gonna be chipping away at that and making a special dish that they're giving everyone a complimentary tasting of. Yeah, it's a lot of cheese, but it was something that, they don't do, but it's something that's really important to them. And so those are just a couple of things, but a lot of people are doing not just a prefix. Let's see. Live Breads is doing spend $20 and you get a free cup of brewed or iced coffee. And then you have like mariachis participating. They are doing a prefix. Basilico's doing a prefix. Clemenza's has deals for 2 slices and a fountain soda for $8. And then Joey's, he has different ones for draft beers and stuff like that. So all of this is on the website. Could you pull this up?
Is Taste Buddy doing anything?
Of course they are.
What are they doing? You're turning microphone on the whole world.
If you don't remember, I can tell you.
Yeah, I think I remember.
Please go to the website.
I think it's spend 25, get a free cookie.
If you can go to the featured one, Jesse, the next one. That should work. Maybe you have to hit enter after it. Yeah, that whole one. 'Cause I already went over the list. So if you scroll down, so I'm sorry, did you answer the question?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
it's spend 25. get a
So
free cookie.
each restaurant has their own profile. Okay, they have a feature image. Boxcar has yet to give me their special. And then it lists what their special is, their contact information, if reservations are recommended, if it's BYOB, if they make their own dessert, whether it's a dine-in, pickup, delivery for restaurant week. And then, so like, this is nice what Candida's doing. If you purchase a pork sandwich, you get a complimentary nata, and you get to try homemade Portuguese wine. So that's what she's doing. But every one of them has their profile. So when people come here, they can check it out. They can go to their website, their Instagram, their Facebook, whatever social media they do have. I have a few more people I'm waiting on their specials, but the majority of it is here. So that's right there in the featured restaurants section. We went over examples of, okay.
Talk about influencers.
I will get there.
I thought you were getting a little lost.
No, I have my notes. So those are the profiles. I'll send an email with all of that to you, so you don't have to search for it. The other thing is we are partnering with the Opportunity Project. They provide resources and training for people that have had brain injuries, and March is Brain Injury Awareness Month. So it's been a really awesome partnership. I'll send you an update on the people that are partnering with them, but I know offhand Lestrada, Jack's Lobster Shack, Boxcar, Basilico, Common Lot, people are either making donations, they're hiring or providing volunteer opportunities for people, or they're planning on a long-term relationship with them. A lot of people need help, especially with the restaurants in the fall and around the holidays. So it's been a really awesome experience for us to work with them and for them to work with us. And then they're bringing the people that have sponsored them to dinner at Restaurant Week. So it'll be a really nice piece.
Are we highlighting that in our marketing that we have this partnership?
Yeah, I have them tagged in everything I post. I'm going to do a dedicated post about them tomorrow or Thursday. And then I'm including that in our e-blasts. And I'm going to do a dedicated e-blast with the update of all the people that are participating as well.
Yeah, because I think if our neighbors knew that they were involved, I think that could really energize the event also.
Absolutely. And then moving on to marketing, I think many of you probably received at home the Short Hills Millburn Monthly, the printed piece. We have the cover, which worked out really well. That's an 8,200 distribution. The other print piece is the posters that went out to storefronts. Pre-event influencers. If you want to pull up, there's a doc there. It's actually the same doc. A link. I just want to quickly show you a handful of these people. If you want to pull up Jessica Choose. So Jessica Choose, she has a little over 7,000 followers. She is going to be doing a reel for us and 3 stories. She's been, actually, I'm sorry. Yes, 3 stories. So she's been to, let's see. She's going to EVOO and Lemon, Live Breads. She's been to La Pergola and a couple others. So that's going to go out. The reel is going to go out on the 17th. And then we have 3 stories coming from that. The next one, if you can pull up, my inner fat kid is out. So if you want to scroll down, Jesse, just to show the photography.
33,000 followers.
Yeah.
So that's a major exposure.
Yes.
For a restaurant.
Yes.
A lot of food.
Yeah. So that's phenomenal. So he's going to 3 places and then he'll be doing posts on that for us. And we've been trying to cover as many places as possible with that. So we'll get 3 posts and 3 stories from him. If you can pull up the next one, it's Jersey Bites. Okay, so if you want to scroll through there, they have almost 20,000 followers. They're doing a dedicated e-blast that they will then post. And then they're doing 3 carousels on Instagram and Facebook for us. And they're going to include all 30, now 31, I have to send her another thing, of the restaurants in those posts. So this is all pre-event. And then if you could pull up the Yelp New Jersey one.
Amanda, did you just,
Yeah.
could you just explain a little bit how it works with the influencer?
So some of them will just do this for food and some of them you're paying. So we're doing a little bit of both. And they come out, they try things, and then they all have their style. So they're gonna write up. So like Jessica Chu, she's doing her top 5 picks for Restaurant Week. Yeah, and they do their write up, they post it. And then they'll, what's great about this is they're going to be tagging all of the businesses that they are visiting. And with Jersey Bites, all of the restaurants are going to get tagged. So that's where you start to get that exposure and those connections. And then we'll be sharing everything with Yelp New Jersey. We're actually doing an Instagram contest with them. They have 31,000 followers and the contest is going to start tomorrow and go through Monday. And the people have to follow us, follow them, and then put in the comment section what restaurant they'd like to go to if they receive a gift card. So that'll be a nice something different. And then, we're working with Savoring Summit and we're working with the Tipsy Critic, which I don't have on there. Tipsy Critic is going to come to several of the restaurants next week and be doing promotion during the week. And the Tipsy Critic has 22,000+ followers. So we reached out to a lot of people and we were able to work out relationships and with these guys. So those are the main influencers. The other thing I did not mention is, and it went out today, Jesse, it should be a PDF, I think. It's the Edible New Jersey. So this e-blast went out to 10,000 people from the Edible New Jersey list today. Every one of those links is a hyperlink to that restaurant.
10,000 people got a link to restaurants.
Yeah, I mean, and we really want to start working with them more anyway, because it's very much appropriate for this area and for what we do here. So we're gonna be working with them at the holidays as well. So we've really kind of come at this at all angles. I still have some event listings to do with the Patch, Tap Into, and a few others. And then I've been posting, I think you've been seeing 1 to 2 a day of the profiles of the restaurants. And then I'm also going to be doing reels that'll be like a lunch local, because we have so many lunch specials, which is awesome. As I said, opportunity project, and then I'll get into cuisines and prefixes and other things. So we're kind of all systems go at this point. I'm wondering if I'm missing anything.
How do the influencers decide which restaurants they're going to try?
So some of them have indicated which ones they want to go to because they haven't been to them before. And then others, I showed them the list and I was trying to make sure the different cuisines are getting represented, things like that. So almost half, it'll actually be more than that. Closer to 20 of them are going to be 20 of the restaurants are going to be seen and reviewed. So we did as much as we could. But yeah, it really depends. Some of them also have their favorites. Savoring Summer was saying, I can, go visit someplace I like, but also I'm curious about this place. So we're like, go to the curiosity, try that out. Yeah, so I've been learning a lot too with this. This has been an education, but these people have all been wonderful to work with, very responsive. And there are other influencers that are going to be more suited to like a girls' night out, things like that. But I think the foodie influencers was a great way to start our relationships that way.
I always tip my hat to Amanda, but she has been working nonstop on this. And I'll tell you, I've run a lot of restaurant weeks. I've done a lot of food festivals in my career. I'll tell you this, restaurants are always the hardest businesses to engage in a SID because their schedules are just insane, right? And when you run a successful restaurant week, you can engage a lot of new constituents. And what you've done, it's so multidisciplinary. The profile page, the reels. I think we've got like 1,100 views on these reels.
Live Breads is over 1,500.
1,500 views, for one reel, right? And we've been doing dozens of them. The influencers, Tracy and I had talked about this probably going back to the day I was hired. Like how do we get influencers to care about Millburn-Short Hills? You have to do something that's big, and this event is big, and that's why all these influencers want to be here. So this was the moment. This is, I think, a very transformative moment. And then, the diversity of the restaurants is amazing. It's not just fine dining, right? I mean, we've got dessert shops, we have coffee shops, we have, quick service, we have pizzerias. But I think the business exposure, when you look at the influencers, how many people they have following them, plus the website, plus the people that are just going to walk in the door. I mean, the average restaurant here is going to be seen by tens of thousands of people as they go through the week. So I tip my hat to you always, but especially this time. So I'm really excited. It starts Monday.
Yes. So getting to that, I will send all of you the links to everything. You can look at what's going on. We should have all the specials probably by Friday, the stragglers, but we would love for you to go and patronize as many as you can, whatever you're interested in, and post on social, let people know you're there and you're representing Explore and the community.
And if you're not comfortable posting, or you don't know how,
send it
to me or Amanda, and we will post the pictures for you.
Yes.
So,
and Steve and I are tag teaming next week. He'll be here Monday through Wednesday, and I'll be here Thursday through Sunday. So every day we will be present at a few places. But really excited about it. And I'm personally going to try and meet up with some of the business owners and see if they'll, want to go out to dinner or lunch. And yes.
This is so awesome, really. It's unbelievable. Really quick question. You had mentioned also at a prior meeting coordinating like with the wine shops.
Yeah.
Are they participating? Because it always feels like there should be more opportunity of them with the restaurants.
So it's been interesting. So some of the wine shops, like I'll be able to just give Unwind the specials, and he'll put together what his recommendations are. So someone can just come in and they'll say, I'm going to La Pergola, and he'll go, I recommend this. Same thing with the wine shop here, and he likes to really, he'll prepare things as well, but he likes to get to know people a little bit and talk to them and have like this really personal experience. So everyone's gonna be able to access what they need. Some restaurants refer to people. So like Miss Lynn's refers to the wine shop. They're like, go there for wine for us. And I know that Unwind has some of those relationships as well. They're able to do wine delivery, but then that's a staffing thing too. So Unwind can do that. The wine shop can't at this time. It doesn't mean they wouldn't want to. And I've been trying to get a hold of the wine rack, but I haven't made any progress. So yeah, this whole thing has been trying to get people to partner. I think it's
awesome. And I know you mentioned that this was also the week that there's no shows at the paper mill, and so restaurants will not be as busy as they usually are.
Right, and they told us at the initial planning meeting.
Good timing.
Yeah.
And so is there a way to list our wine shops anywhere on our, I mean, is there any other?
So they're listed as a participant.
Oh, they are. So if somebody is coming to dinner for restaurant week,
Yeah.
they see where they can pick up a bottle of wine.
Yeah, they can go there.
Terrific.
Absolutely. And then anything I hear, I'm doing updates, like people are sending me updates daily, like, oh, I didn't tell you this, or I didn't tell you that. So I'm adding that to the profiles. But what I'm gonna do is get a list of all the specials to all of the wine shops so that they're prepared, regular menus they can find online. And like I said, so like with Miss Lynn's, I put in there, they recommend the wine shop. So if a specific restaurant says, I recommend so-and-so, we'll add that in. And then actually the Unwine Boutique, that Friday and Saturday of Restaurant Week, they're gonna be doing food and wine tastings. So that's another little thing that'll be happening too. But yeah, it's a learning experience with the partnerships. Whether it's baked goods or other things, there's just a lot that has to go right for it to work for both parties and logistics and everything else. So, but I think we've made some progress.
Well, that looks like a tremendous undertaking. And,
It is.
You and Steve really have our gratitude for making this happen. The real splash for the township.
Yeah.
This is usually the quiet time in the city.
Well,
We messed that up.
he originally in the fall was like, I want to have one in February. And I said, we're not doing this in February. We have to get through the holidays. So any other questions? Okay.
All right, thank you so much.
Not at all.
Okay, branding improvements, resident business engagement, Tracy.
Sure, so I'll start. Lex and I are both gonna talk about this section. So we had a great meeting of our marketing committee. And we know we've been doing a lot of great work, and we'll hear more about some of those results later, and we're already hearing. And we all agreed we want to get the word out, and there have been some great questions, from others at our past meetings. So how can we raise awareness and get the word out? So I'm going to talk a little bit about the ideas for residents and visitors. A few things we are pursuing. One is thinking about developing a tagline, something that conveys that Explore Millburn-Short Hills helps our business and therefore our town thrive. So we're going to do some brainstorming about that, as well as developing some type of visual that gives a nice snapshot of everything that we do. And related to that, also developing some type of infographic, which in a very quick look would show the results and impact. In terms of, and by the way, I want to say when we say engaging with residents, it's really residents and visitors, because as Amanda has shared at some of our past meetings, a good number of folks that are participating in events, and for example, that we know will be coming to Restaurant Week,
Right.
of course, there are residents, but a big proportion are visitors from other areas as well. We would like to seek out opportunities to make presentations about Explore and have a compelling table set up at different events. An example is one of our committee members is very involved in the Newcomers and Neighbors Club, which is being relaunched soon, and they're going to be having a big relaunch event. That would be a great place for us to be, perhaps even going to some PTO meetings and educating the leaders in our schools of how they could even, do fundraising or do events in town and how we can help. And we would utilize our great social media channels that we're building up on communicating and disseminating some of this information. And Lex is going to talk a bit about raising awareness among the business community.
Yes. So as Tracy said, we had a great and productive meeting. She spoke about the residents, and we also spoke about how to get more businesses involved than they already are. One thing we discussed was a social media campaign of testimonials where we asked business owners to quickly explain how working with Explore has benefited their business in the past. Examples are like one of the financial classes that are coming up, or what it was like being a part of Girls' Night Out or here for the holidays. In doing this, we hope that many businesses who might be on the fence about doing an Explore event may choose to say yes next time. We also brought up figuring out how to incorporate more of the advisory committee in the future and having more communication throughout the SID. One idea was having like a team captain in the districts. So that would be like a business owner of different districts where someone can come to if they have an idea or question or anything like that. Instead of going to Steve or Amanda, they maybe can go to a fellow business owner in the SID in their specific district to kind of bounce ideas off and get more of a communication throughout their district. And all in all, we focused on ideas on how to get business owners to take more advantage of Explore and really getting more involvement with the businesses.
Does anybody have any questions? Terrific. So we'll go on to business advocacy, commercial garbage collection changes. Mr. Molman?
Yes, so June 1st, businesses that are currently being picked up by Giordano and Company under the municipal contract will be going for their own private collections. So no change on that end. Ordinance changes will be forthcoming in the probably within the next couple of meetings. And if any business owners that are affected have any questions, they can reach out to me for more information.
Terrific. And Mr. Grillo, so we're going to go through the state of the SID, the commercial vacancy report, which we do periodically.
Yes, I am. You're on, terrific. Mr. Molman, if you pull up the presentation. Thank you. So every 6 months, I produce the State of the SID report, which details commercial vacancy rates, a business census, and associated economic development strategies. This is the fourth report that I've issued, and I'm happy to report that for the fourth consecutive time, the commercial vacancy rate has decreased. So first, we'll begin with the report background. The SID consists of 5 districts of 205 tax lots. There are 374 total first and second floor commercial spaces and/or offices, and that represents 493 total businesses in our district. Keep in mind that there are businesses in the town that are outside the SID boundaries, including portions of Main Street that are south of Church Street and Millburn Avenue east of Trader Joe's. So while we do represent the significant majority of businesses in the town, there are some portions of the town that are not within the SID. Downtown represents 62% of the total tax lots in the SID, and when combined with Upper Millburn Avenue, the 2 districts represent 86% of the total district. So I'm glad that we've worked hard to recruit 2 Upper Millburn Avenue representatives to the board, Ashley and Alexa, to enhance equitable representation in these 2 large districts. The special assessment collected to fund the SID is based on the assessed value of all commercial properties in the SID. As you can see from the second chart, downtown represents 43%, Upper Millburn 17%, Morris Turnpike and Short Hills 26%, and the Wyoming Business Center 13%. So given our continued effort for equitable representation, and that we do have a finite number of seats on our board, we made a conscious effort to recruit members from outside of recruit members from Morris Turnpike, Short Hill Station, and the Wyoming Business Center to our advisory committee, which meets 5 times a year and which Jackie reports on periodically. The next slide, business data. So the tax lots and the assessment value were just 2 of the factors that I used to chart the trajectory of the SID. I also tracked the number and types of businesses that we serve. So of the 493 businesses in the SID, the majority are in 3 sectors: professional services, those are your architects, engineers, planners, et cetera, medical, and food and drink. Those top 3 sectors represent 63% of all businesses. And some of my thoughts and recommendations on how to support these sectors, I'll get to later. In terms of business location, downtown represents 50% of all the businesses in the SID, with Morris Turnpike and Wyoming Business Center in 2nd and 3rd place respectively. Since the creation of Explore in August 2020, 82 businesses, or 16.6% of all businesses in the current SID, have opened. 82 businesses. In addition to this incredible overall growth, I'm struck by the significant percentage growth in specific districts. 65 have opened in the downtown, which is 18% of the total. 16 have opened on Morris Turnpike, 17% of the total for that district, and 11 on Upper Millburn Avenue, 25% of the total for that district. 1 in 4 businesses that are on Upper Millburn Avenue today were not there 2.5 years ago. We have 6 businesses already open this year, and we have another 6 under construction or contract, including some former stranded asset properties, which have been a focus of our work in these previous reports. These sites will take some time to get up and running, but they include 4 Taylor Street, the former YB Fitness, the former Longevity Fitness, the former bridal store at 565 Millburn Avenue, and the former Charlie Brown's here in the heart of downtown. The majority of these projects are being overseen by local stakeholders who are committed to investing in our community for the long term, an incredible sign of confidence in Millburn. We also have 6 businesses which will open in the next 90 to 120 days, including other stranded assets, such as the former Bowtie Theater and the former Futter Shoes. And finally, as a point of reference, when the 2 new developments in the downtown, the former Wells Fargo site and the former Millburn Pet Store open, they will be operational with retail portions. Those 2 sites will then come onto the SID roll as well. So now I'm going to shift to the vacant properties. So when the initial analysis was performed related to the need for a SID in mid-2020, the commercial vacancy rate across the district was approximately 16%. When I made my first report in July 2021, the number reduced to 9.7 and now sits at just 4.8%. With the developments and anticipating openings that I just mentioned, I believe that number will be below 3% in September when I make the next report, which is remarkable to go from 16 to 3. As you can see from this chart, we have 356 first and second floor spaces occupied. That is 95.2% of the total. And where I'm very encouraged is that overall, we're down to just 9 long-term vacancies. So those are those vacant properties that we've deemed as stranded assets. There's only 9 of them left, of 2.4%. We currently have 18 vacancies out of the 374 available first and second floor spaces, representing just 4.8%. As I mentioned before, a record low. Downtown has been reduced to, here we go. Yep, downtown's been reduced to just 3.6%, and Upper Millburn Avenue is currently at 9.8%, but it was a reduction from 23% when we began the SID. And so you look at that Upper Millburn Avenue graph, it's pretty remarkable. A new feature of this report is a subjective analysis of the currently vacant properties. I'd like to thank Tracy specifically for her interest in this portion of the report and numerous discussions on it. So I've analyzed each of the 18 properties that are either considered stranded assets or that are currently for sale or lease. This analysis included a number of factors such as active construction and marketing, engagement with the SID through my relationship with an owner or a broker, if we are actively referring tenants, and if there's a special project such as public art going on at the site. Overall, and you'll see the more X's, the better. Overall, most of the properties have shown here of responsive and engaged owners who are working with Explore, and we've been sending tenants their information about property on a regular basis. There are some sites that are of concern, including the former President's Club in downtown, which is apparently asking quite a high rental rate from folks that I've heard from. The mixed-use development at 271 Millburn, it's likely going to come in and try to have a zoning change. And then the final 5 properties on the list here, which are all on Upper Millburn Avenue, where the owners have not engaged with the SID. The former Unica Clothing is now under construction, but the others remain dormant. During the September 2022 presentation of this report, I included a number of recommendations which I believe can help address the final remaining stranded assets. The first 3 recommendations, Jesse, if you go to the next slide, I have quite a bit of overlap, so I'll just discuss them together. We proposed identifying a municipal team of experts, maintaining a property inventory, and performing an analysis of businesses. In response, communications have increased with certain property owners, but substantive conversations with land use boards have not occurred, and that's something that I want to improve on this year. I intend to advocate for changes that I see as beneficial, such as a reduction in parking requirements on Morris Turnpike, allowing specific medical uses such as pediatricians in the downtown, and encouraging first floor office space in the downtown with specific design standards that may enhance streetscape or pedestrian experience. We maintain a property inventory, both internally on our website, which has proven to be a very useful resource. And my analysis of this inventory leads me to believe there are 3 main issues associated with vacancies. Property owners who are not actively looking to fill spaces, that happens in every community. High rent or difficult lease terms, and then space which is simply too large to meet market needs. 10 years ago, everybody was looking for big spaces. Now, the smaller the better. We have 1,200 square foot spaces in this town that are challenging. That wouldn't have existed 5 years ago. Just in a post-COVID world, people are looking for smaller spaces. So we need to think about how those spaces are subdivided, et cetera. There also needs to be better coordination between Explore and second floor and office building owners. This should be a focus of our business advisory committee for this year. I think we can do a better job of listing available rental spaces, even if they're small, a couple of 100 square foot spaces, especially on Morris Turnpike or in downtown. We've also proposed implementing cost-effective infrastructure solutions and maximizing outdoor dining and pedestrian activity. Efforts are underway for new signage, benches, and garbage cans on Upper Millburn Avenue. That'll be part of our spring plan. Additional planters and landscaping throughout the district, as Amanda mentioned, and of course, all the new public art. The Main Street Pedestrian Mall is expected to be approved for summer 2023. Sidewalk sales are also expected to be approved by the Township Committee, and the town is currently receiving already applications for outdoor seating licenses. And while we've been successful in supporting outdoor dining, we're working to mitigate another food-related issue, and this really does tie into overall economic development. Outdoor dining is here to stay, but so are dining and delivery apps. And so Explore serves on the township's parking ad hoc committee, and the town has implemented a new delivery driver waiting area in lot 16, which is across right by the recycling center entrance. And so there we're going to be asking delivery drivers, especially those supporting Goldbergs and Pliables and Millburn Deli, that instead of double and triple parking, they can go in that lot. No one's going to chase them away, but it'll be a safer driver and pedestrian experience. So we hope that is a method to assist. And then finally, to address restrictive zoning and fill vacancies with innovative uses, I suggest the Township Committee consider the creation of an economic vitality committee composed of various stakeholders to develop a long-term vision for the town. Critical discussion should occur related to economic development, affordable housing, business incubator spaces, school occupancy, open space and field availability, zoning and quality of life issues, among others. There's a lot of different concerns presented at various meetings and by numerous stakeholders. And I think it's a great opportunity to integrate all those discussions into one. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Great news on vacancies being below 5%. That's really exciting.
We're very happy.
Anybody else?
I will do it all again in September.
Yeah, I also want to commend you, Steve. I mean, 82 new businesses under your tenure, 16% down to 4.8%. It's tremendous. That's really a tribute.
Thank you. Yeah, we try to kind of do a cradle to the grave sort of concept, right? You know, we
Yes.
we get to businesses long before they open. We walk them through the process. We market them before they open. We engage them on social media before they open, and then, you know, we do kickoff events like we did last week, but then we walk them through. And it's a really important thing for Amanda and I to be very holistic in the way that we approach these businesses.
And Steve, behind the numbers, just one other point, it struck me as I was speaking to you this week. So if somebody wants to open a business in town, you'll get the call and you'll meet with them and you'll show them the inventory of openings and kind of walk them through the zoning and kind of hold their hand, through the process.
Yeah, I had a meeting just yesterday with a business right now. They're residents in Millburn. They have a sort of home-based bakery. They're looking to expand. They've been looking at real estate, but nothing more than just driving by and thinking what might work, what might not. So sat with them yesterday, had a cup of coffee, talked about, the regulations that are required. There may be a site that you think is available, but I really know that it's under contract, so don't waste your time. Or it's too big for you, it's too small for you, or you're gonna need a special approval because you wanna cook in it. They ask about signs all the time, so I walk them through the signage process. Flood insurance is a big one. They wanna know, should I get flood insurance? Should I not? What's it cost? How do I go through it? And so these are all questions that you can't get normally from a zoning officer or from a construction official, right? These are very integrated questions. And that's really our job, is to be a jack of all trades when it comes to conveying information to potential businesses.
Anybody else have any questions? Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Steve, thank you so much. Jackie,
Yes.
you will kick off the advisory committee.
Well,
seat?
yes, so as every, it's not green, is it?
Yeah, great.
Green's on. So as everyone knows, the second annual Founding Day, thank you, Amanda, for this lovely graphic, will be held April 22nd at Bauer and the environs, Taylor Park, downtown, not just Bauer. So we will be in the art alley, we will be in the little plaza area across from All Together Now. We will be in the courtyard, thank you, and the fourth one, and the Rose Garden, thank you, Steve. So the days is continuing to shape up to be a spectacular day of activities. We will have the live Century music. We are adding, thank you to Explore. CETA is very grateful that we'll have various art installations throughout the downtown. We are partnering with Main Street Pops. We will have our 19th century music. The Environmental Commission, Shade Tree, Short Hills Garden Club, Boy Scouts, Food Pantry, Green Team are all participating throughout the day in activities. Historic will be taking up a big chunk at Bauer, as well as the Green Team. We've got a call on Thursday, so they'll be doing their local native plantings. They may be doing some additional just decorative plants, as well as working with Shade Tree on some tree saplings, because we're losing trees more than we're replenishing them. So, oh, and last but not least, the birthday party for our elm tree in Taylor Park, so by the Rose Garden. So that's going to be around 2:30, 3 o'clock. We'll finalize all the times. There is a tremendous opportunity to volunteer anytime from 10 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We can put you to work, you and your family. Children are invited. We're going to be deploying teams on the cleanup. It is Earth Day as well. So I'm really hoping the only thing that I want you all tasked is to pray for good weather. So I'm excited. And also want to let you know that the May 21st, CETA Sunday, 1st of 2023, is shaping up to be a day of Chinese music and dance and Indian culture and dance performances. May 21st, that's a Sunday, that is rain or shine. So we're finalizing the time. I think it's going to be about 12 to 3. There'll be some refreshments, local performances. Explore is assisting CETA with their sound system. As I mentioned, rain or shine, it'll be in the main room in Bauer. And that's turning out to be, I've gotten tremendous responses from a variety of groups that are in town, all ages, young children, adults. Pretty cool. So mark your calendars, everybody. It's after Mother's Day. So I'm thinking it's going to be, and make sure on April 22nd, you bring something for our food pantry, a non-perishable item. Annette will give us a flyer in terms of if there's any real needs that more than others. But that's really, really important that we remember our residents that are less fortunate. So, you know, we're gonna stuff the bus again. So pretty excited. Thank you. Yes. Okay. So as Steve mentioned, we have an advisory committee that meets sort of quarterly, which is the businesses that are representative across all the districts. And it's sort of has become a brainstorming session for how we drive engagement, how we improve, to Alexa's point regarding business advocacy. You know, there will be, unfortunately, you know, there will be another either, God forbid, but it will happen, either a pandemic or a national disaster. And how is going to Explore going to help these businesses be on the forefront of responsive change? So we have a meeting scheduled for March 29th. I think we'll begin to look at things that we as an organization can do to kind of preempt that. So, you know, if you, God forbid, if you have a flood, who are you gonna call and how is it gonna be who's gonna be responsive and how are you gonna be able to react? So almost a little bit of a handbook, if you will, for these businesses to have, you know, in case of emergency, do this. And I must say, we were very grateful to have Explore during Hurricane Ida because they were able to really help our businesses, really spearhead a lot of initiatives and really help them get on their feet sooner rather than later. So this would really just be the next step, the next level, if you will, in terms of organizing those resources in a much more robust and accessible fashion. So I look forward to working with our businesses. And as Alexa said, it's another opportunity to really drive engagement where they're going to really see the worth and value of all the resources that this organization can bring. So stay tuned. You'll get a report back at the next meeting. And that's it for me. Anybody else have anything else they want to add?
Any other questions?
Any questions about this initiative? Alexa, you and I can talk offline if there's anything that you want to just mention or on behalf of the businesses. I think the idea of these sort of team captains, it's sort of like back in the day when we had a class mom that made the phone calls for the snow day. I mean, it's the same kind of concept, if you will. We'll have 5 or 6 you know, obviously downtown is a bigger district, Upper Miami, so whatever it is, or vertical, you know, almost by geography and also by business type. So maybe to have 2 or 3 representatives of a, you know, the top 10 of these representatives that will be responsible under our guidance and tutelage to be the outreach and in this case.
And I will say, being on some of these calls, there are so many volunteers under Jackie's leadership that are working every week towards Founding Day. I mean, I think it's going to be a tremendous. It's going to be such a fun day. It better be. There's a lot of work going into it, and I remember last year people brought food for a pantry, and but I just want to thank all the volunteers behind the scenes that are working for hours and hours on this. And one last shout out: if you do want to volunteer, if you want to get involved with Explore or for Family Day, please come forward. We have plenty of work to do.
We have a sign-up sheet. So if you go to exploremillburnshorthills.org, you go to events, click on Founding Day, and on that landing page is a volunteer sign-up form.
We already have probably 9 or 10 that have signed up in the last 10 days.
Great.
Terrific,
Yep.
terrific. Yes, okay, so we're going to go to public comment. When invited to speak, please come to the lectern, clearly state your name, address, and speak into the podium microphone so that your comments could be understood by all and properly recorded. When reading from a prepared statement, please provide a copy to Tracy at exploremillburnshorthills.org. Speakers must limit their comments to 3 minutes. Any attendees utilizing Zoom or phoning in will also have an opportunity to speak. So should we start? Mr. Feld, would you like to start?
We'll start. I'm Jeffrey Feld, 11 Alexander Lane, Short Hills, New Jersey. First, a few comments. This is Sunshine Week, March 12th to March 18th, which promotes governmental transparency and accountability. Today is Pi Day, 3.14, and tomorrow is the Ides of March. It was interesting when you talk about the elm tree. The elm tree, if you look at the American Revolution, is the symbol of liberty. And that's where they, like the Minutemen, when they dumped the tea, met. And when they did the rebellion. I like to talk about certain things. It seems like today you change your agenda. We do have bylaws. I don't know how automatically you can do it without changing it. I have a question. I read in the newspaper every day. Today they had a notice of Elizabeth's budget, an audit. I don't understand how the revenues that came in on the assessment were already distributed without an official action by the township committee, and that'll be raised on Tuesday. This past weekend, we heard of a new phrase, bailout socialism. I return to what I said the first time Mr. Grillo arrived here. I think state best practices, especially at the end of his presentation, which was a great presentation, a lot of things that he's doing belongs in City Hall, not as a SID. And I think we have to really revisit that because there's real issues, because there's litigation as to the validity of this entity. Yesterday, a major opinion came out from the state Supreme Court where they agreed with my analysis. At the last township committee meeting, besides being attacked by the mayor, the municipal attorney said that we needed a stay. I wish Mr. Vecchio was here because he's a municipal attorney. There's an issue that no attorney has ever issued an opinion. What is the effect of delivering filing a complaint within the 20 days of the estoppel period of an ordinance? Does that state the effectiveness date of that ordinance? That issue was resolved in a related case that was dealing with West Orange, and that was a state Supreme Court case that was heard yesterday. Jesse, I've been asking for months and months, when will we ever get an accounting of the calendar year 2020 Main Street closure that occurred before the SID was created? We told about the legal opinions, never been. I think there was a forum about the commercial solid waste buildup, pickup. I think the merchants are entitled to answers to that question of that public forum. We still have not heard. There's question about the insurance registration requirement. No taxation without representation. The idea about mediate and not litigate. When this board was originally created in August of 2020, it was done on less than 48 hours notice. Those are issues. I understand some of the great things that you're doing about marketing. We still have to revisit the issue of whether this entity has been a legal entity. When this gentleman was retained, he was directed never to opine as to that issue by Mr. Vecchio. I'm just urging you caution and prudence, especially in light of what the state Supreme Court decided yesterday. The opinion that I sent to you from Massachusetts about the right to speak at public hearings, and really what the focus of the SID is, and what a lot of things that Mr. Grillo is doing belongs in City Hall and not as a SID. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Phil. Jesse, you want to go online and see who's want to speak? Good evening.
Hi, it's Vicky Powell. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you, Vicky.
Hi, it's Vicky Powell at 358C Millburn Avenue, Charlotte's Boutique. I just wanted to comment on a couple things. First, I want to say what a fabulous SEO class that we had last week. It was so informative. It definitely helped the businesses that I spoke to that were on the call, and how, I mean, just from the class alone, I started my own blog on my website. It just was so informative and useful tool that the merchants needs. Not only that we, the events and all the other stuff that we do, but the learning tools are very important. And it's all because of the SID and all the things that you guys are doing and affording us businesses in the SID to take advantage of. So it's a home run, in my opinion. I can't wait for the social media classes that are coming up next. I also want to say we're working very hard on Girls Night Out. Amanda and the committee, we have been coming up with great ideas to make it bigger and better and more involved and more districts to partner up with the districts in the downtown. So I just want to say we're hitting out of the park. Can't wait for you guys to all see that come to fruition. As always, you guys are doing a great job. I thank you. Being a business in town for 38 years now, I have to say the SID is very important. It's an important entity, and it's important to support the businesses in the districts, and that is what the SID is doing. And thank you, Explore Millburn-Short Hills. That's it. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you so much for your comments. Jess, who's next? Good evening. Good evening.
Yes, good evening, Perry Urso. How are you?
Hi, Ms. Urso.
So I know we talked about a little bit, I got some answers for the commercial solid waste change collection. I understand that it is in fact, and also the BA stated that it would take effect in June. I just wanted to know, I mean, are we gonna have a follow-up meeting with that? And also, were the tenants also notified along with the property owners? And also, will the commercial property owners be entitled to a reduction in property taxes for the services that will no longer be provided? So I got that question. Also, on February 15th, and again, on March 2nd, I sent an email to some department heads and a select few on this board. Mr. Grillo was copied on that. Mr. Ryan was copied on that. Mr. Millman was copied on that regarding the upcoming SID assessment. Can you please advise the disenfranchised property owners if the fees can be deposited into the trust accounts held by the SID attorney while the pending litigation of this validity, the expanded 5-district appointed board litigation has been resolved. So can you please give us an answer on that? I understand that question is, as Mr. Feld mentioned, how are you functioning without township approvals of appropriations of money? And then also, since the implementation of this contested SID, we also have we've received property assessments. We have now upcoming solid waste fees. Can you please explain the appeal process and where it can be found in your ordinance as per the BA statement? And since you can can you explain the township's position on the New Jersey state newly requirement regarding the insurance registration? And what's the process of that? And again, once again, will there be more fees? So it's fees, and on top of fees. Everyone's talking about how great the SID is doing, and it's, but what about talking about the extra fees that are incurred by the property owners? I didn't hear that in any of your reports. So for me, that's very important. Taxation without representation. Clearly, other property owners or business owners are happy of what you're doing, but you're also delegating, and a majority of portions of these, not all the districts are equally being recognized. So if you can kindly answer some of those questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Urso. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Carl Burwell. I'm the owner of Garden State Hemp at 327 Millburn Ave. Just wanted to, come on and make a quick comment. First, I want to say thank you to the SID and everything you guys have done. Been a supporter since day one. I think it's a great job that you guys have been doing, and the board's doing a great job in supporting everything that the SID has been doing. I wanted to make a quick comment, probably a very controversial comment also, on Steve's State of the SID report and the thing that he mentioned about stranded assets and the need for innovative or new solutions for these properties. It seemed like the biggest similarity that I noticed between the properties, that they were all kind of larger than your traditional retail businesses are looking for. So I had a funny idea of why not have Explore Millburn explore non-traditional retail outlets like cannabis industry. And I know it's something that's come up before in the town, and it's been a little bit of controversy around it, but we have the districts that could be pretty much out of sight, out of mind, like Morris Turnpike or the Wyoming district by Trader Joe's, which is almost entirely medical use. And these are businesses that could fit in our economic landscape if the municipal planning process would be utilized to employ open dialogue and education through thoughtful discussion. I can tell you that there's a significant amount of technical resources that are available to assist in these local conversations. So you don't have to be experts in cannabis. You just have to bring the right people to the conversation. The very basic component necessary to successfully implement something like this would be proper planning. Towns that have performed the planning process well certainly made different decisions than those that let dissent and fear dominate the conversation. I'm not naive either. I do know that there's a lot of perceived notions related to cannabis in the township. So to add a little perspective on one of the biggest pushbacks I've ever heard, I know that, a lot of people think having a dispensary in town would lead to increased usage amongst teens and kids. But on February 13th, the CDC's Division of Adolescent and School Health released their youth risk behavioral survey that showed that 16% of high school students reported past 30-day cannabis use in 2021, and that's compared to 22% in 2019. So we're at a record low of teen usage since 2011. So obviously something's changing in the climates that teen usage is down. And I know there's other factors to look into like traffic and safety and odor, but there's still plenty of information that could be used to plan properly. I'm not asking this board to be a cannabis advocate or look into the retail just because I say so, but to just do the research and use the tools that are available to take a look at what the reality would really look like and just have open dialogue based on quantitative findings. I've tried to have conversations with the TC about this, but I can never seem to have an open dialogue. One of the biggest things that dispensaries offer to a township is a tax revenue of 2% of their gross receipts. So I know that there's always been an issue with the SIDS assessment and the taxes related to that. And I could tell you from some of the numbers I've seen in other towns, one dispensary could pay the entire SIDS budget for the year. So that's just my 2 cents. I'd like to thank you guys again for an opportunity to speak. And my hope is just that the board does their homework a little bit and maybe make a suggestion based off of the research you do and not just based off of our personal fears and content towards the product.
Thank you so much, Mr. Burwell. Appreciate your comments. Jesse? No, that's it. Okay. Yeah, now at this point in the meeting, we can ask our professionals to respond to any questions or comments.
So I just want to clarify the record on something that Ms. Urso said, because it's not the first time I've heard it, and Mr. Cooper certainly can illuminate more. But at the last Township Committee meeting, either Ms. Urso or Mr. Feld, I can't recall, had suggested the same idea of putting the SID assessment in the trust or escrow accounts for either Mr. Cooper or the Township's attorney, Mr. Mariziti. Mr. Mariziti responded that no judge has ordered that. No decision has ever been made related to that. And it was his belief that since no decision has ever been made, that it would be a bit of an alternate reality to do that.
He just gave the alternative.
And so
He didn't say that.
So no one has ever mandated or even recommended from the judicial branch that during litigation that the SID assessment should ever be put in escrow. And so I've had other property owners aside from Mr. Feld and Ms. Urso ask me about that. So I just wanted to dispel that rumor that no one has ever mandated or suggested that in the legal sense.
Does anybody else?
The judge also said to me.
Excuse me, Mr. Feld, this is our turn to respond. Excuse me. Does anybody else have a response? Okay, so with that, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
We're adjourned. Thank you so much. Good night, Millburn-Short.